Hey! Hi everyone! Welcome back to Virtual Gardening, episode number 5. Today's episode will be garden maintenance. And just as a friendly reminder, hope everybody's wearing their face masks. Please continue to wash your hands often. If you go out in public, social distance at least 6 feet, stay apart from everybody else, and together we'll get through this. On today's episode, I'm going to be showing you guys a little bit about garden maintenance, how to get your climbing vines and vegetables such as sweet peas, green beans, like up on a trellis or a stringer. I'm going to show you guys how to put in some stakes and run some strings and get those things off the ground. That way they're not leaning over or falling over. I'll show you a couple tips on how to pull weeds and how to tell the difference between what's a weed or a grass or your actual garden plants that are growing, and just a little bit on maintenance of your garden. Hey guys, so through the magic of video, we are now in the garden, and as you can see, the garden does grow pretty fast. So what I'm going to be teaching you today is how to string up your garden. We're kind of going to be building similar to a fence. We're going to use some stakes, some string, and we're basically just going to make some lines. What we're going to do is brace our plants up. Plants like sweet peas, they tend to grab and climb, so we're going to give them something to climb onto. By bracing our plants, this gives them a little bit of strength. That way they're not blowing in the wind. That way they're not laying down on the ground, and overall it just makes a much healthier plant. Ready? Let's do it. In this video, you will need the following tools: some scissors, a hammer, some string, and some stakes. Now I like to repurpose, so I'm going to be using some old pipes that I just cut. The stakes are pieces of wood from an old chair. And as for the string, you can either buy brand new, you can use some paracord, some twine, it doesn't matter. Just keep it simple, make it fun. So for this video, you might need your parents' help. If you're over the age of 12, you probably can do this yourself, but if you're younger than that, ask your mom or dad for some help, or even your older brother. It doesn't matter, but I just don't want you guys to get hurt. So I got my Mighty Thor hammer, I got a pipe, and I'm going to be putting this into the ground. What you want to do is you want to find an area where your roots aren't going to get damaged. You want to find a place that's nice and level. Hold that pipe with one hand, firmly grab the hammer with the other, and then what you're going to do is you're just going to hit it gentle like this. You don't have to hit it too hard. Just make sure that your pipe is nice and straight and get that thing in the ground. I like to call this my Thor's hammer because it is really powerful. Go too deep. You need something that you can put the string onto, and we're going to do the same a little further down. Action. Get yourself another stake. Remember never to step on your vegetables. I usually go about 4 or 5 feet. Find the middle, somewhere where plants aren't growing. That way it doesn't affect them or harm them in any way. You want to just get it started, lightly tapping, then you can actually hammer. sometimes when you hit a hard spot like that, that means there's a rock down there, and you're basically breaking that rock or pushing it down. But don't worry, you don't have to go too deep, so that'll work for what we need it to. Grab another stake and continue on. Remember, you don't properly space, like we said, about 5 feet. Find yourself another spot. And then what you're going to do is gently tap the first couple ones just to get it started. And once you get it started, then you can actually hammer it. Remember, it's not going to go perfect every time, so just do as best as you can. And another one. Now, things aren't always going to go as planned, but don't give up. Just keep on doing it. And eventually, something good might happen. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi.
Can I get some help from my little helpers? Thank you, Elizabeth. Tap, tap, tap. About 3 times. Hold it straight. Then you can hammer. Just like that. All right, for the last one. Come on, Diego. Now remember, just try to make it nice and neat. It doesn't have to be perfect. And tap it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Then you can hammer. There you go. All our stakes are in the garden. Now we can string it. And now for the second part, the string. Thank you, Elizabeth. What we're gonna do is we're gonna tie a knot. It doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be a strong knot. So what I like to do is simple double knot, like so. Then I'll get our string and I'll wrap it around tight. What that does is it makes it nice and sturdy. There we go. And what we're going to do is we're just going to wrap this around our stakes several times, just like that. Keep it nice and tight. Remember, rotate about 2 times around every stake. I like to do the top part first and then work my way down. What we're basically doing is we're making something that the plants can grab onto, similar to a fence. Alright, so once you have the first row of string, you can add another layer and another layer. What this does is it acts as a fence. That way the plants can crawl up it. So same as before, what you do is you tie a nice tight knot, loop it around a few times, and then do it all over again. I like to think of this as the fun part, because we're kind of just trying to get it as straight as possible, loop it around, and continue on. Try to get it as straight as possible, loop it around, make sure it's nice and tight, continue on to the next one. You're just going to repeat yourself over and over. Make sure you do a good job. All right, another part of garden maintenance is pulling out the weeds. I'm going to show you guys what is a vegetable, what we've planted in the garden, and what is grass or what we don't want growing. Okay, so you can see our sweet peas here on this side. Sweet peas tends to get these little curly things on the tip of them. I don't know if you can see that with this camera. All right, and right here we have some radishes growing. Those are starting to come out nice and beautiful. We have some fava beans. We have some more sweet peas. We have some green beans. And here we have weeds. So I don't know what this is, but I just kind of pull it by hand. I just pinch it and then pull. Stuff like this you can compost, you can add it to dirt, and now it'll actually benefit your soil. But right now we don't want it. Stuff like this, that is grass. So again, what I do is I just kind of sink my fingers into the ground. I kind of pinch it, pull it, and then I'll shake off the roots there. So that is a weed. It kind of looks like corn, but I know it's not because I didn't plant any corn this year. And then cover up the hole. And this stuff right here is purslane. We call it verdolagas in Spanish. It's a type of like ground cover, but you can actually eat it. It's edible. This actually has a lot of nutrition, and I like to saute it with some onion, little ground beef. And now for the last part, we're gonna put a stringer over here on our tomatoes. You can use a metal trellis or some wire. Some people like to put the circle trellises. To me it doesn't matter. It gets really windy where I live, so it just needs something to brace it from the wind. So I'm going to use a little bit of thicker string on this one. You can use paracord or twine. So come on, helpers, bring me some stakes. All right, thank you, Diego.
You're welcome.
Ama. Thank you, Elizabeth.
You're welcome.
Now you get your stake. Remember not to harm the roots. You want to put it about a foot away from your plant. Just tap it like that. Tomatoes tend to grow a little bit tall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of start off with these. Then I might put bamboo and eventually a trellis or some type of metal fencing. But this will help my smaller tomatoes for now. Just like that. Make sure they're nice and sturdy. One more at the far end of the root. Now I need some string. So if one of my little helpers would be so kind to bring me some, I'm going to make a knot. Make sure that this knot is nice and sturdy. sometimes I'll even make like a little lasso. What I do is I make a circle like that, tie it real tight, and all I do is I feed the other part of the string through the loop, and what that does is it makes a lasso just like so, and as you pull on it, it tightens. So I use this and then I pull on it and it just gets nice and snug right there like that. Same method, you want to wrap it around a couple times. Just make sure to keep it nice and straight. I hope you guys' gardens are doing well over there at home. If you guys have pictures, please send them to us at chaliceyouthandfamily.org, or you can share them here on Facebook. I would love to see your pictures of your gardens at home. So we just wrap it around a few times just like that, and that way if it does get windy, our plants can kind of lean on this, you know. It just acts as a barrier. And now I need a pair of scissors from my little helper. What we're going to do is going to leave a little bit of slack. Thank you, Elizabeth.
You're welcome.
And you want to cut it a little far away. Yeah, that's a lot of string there. Well, let's cut it about 6 inches. Always be careful with scissors. And then you're just going to tie a knot there at the end. Try to get that nice and tight if you can. Double knot it, triple knot it, whatever you got to do. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Once you get your stakes in the ground, you have your stringer. What that does is it stabilizes your tomatoes. It just gives it kind of something to lean onto, or if it's a windy day. Also, sometimes it could be really hot from the sun, so it has something to hold it up, and your plants will be strong and they'll take off in no time. Until then, remember to pull out all the weeds, anything that you didn't plant. Just remember to take it out and throw it to the side, or you can also compost, which is really good. At this point, we're getting a lot of rain, so you don't have to water as much. Maybe water once or twice a week. In areas that are dry, you can water, you know, keep your garden nice and moist. But until then, remember to like, share, subscribe, continue watching our videos, and keep on planting. Thanks for watching, everyone.